Now, after waiting 2 years for the Sony A7C II, I was so excited to finally pick it up and start using it. And although I've only had it for a month, some of that excitement or glimmer has tarnished because I'm finding some major problems with this camera that I'm not hearing a lot of other creators talk about. But maybe I found the fix. And some minor ones too. And these issues I'm having are quite unexpected when compared to other Sony releases and rather disappointing and frankly substantial enough that clearly it will need a fix or firmware updates to remedy. But again, maybe some problems that may not have a fix that I can't quite put my finger on, which could just be the limitations of this new camera, but a camera that I thought would be, well, love at first sight, or at least at first snap, and could admittedly be partially due to user error, but some of it definitely is not. Okay, so before you get all excited, I have updated my Sony A7C II to version 1.01, which I recommend doing on the Creators app. So you can just do it from your phone and it'll wirelessly or through Bluetooth update your camera. I am noticing it may be slightly better, but all the problems are still there, and I have to still update my Samyang lenses, and I'll get to all that. Now, I will be doing a dedicated review on this camera after I've had more time with it and with more lenses, as is only fair, and as I'm packing it up in my bag now to travel overseas with, and I can make more comparisons between this and other cameras in multiple settings and situations, as well as compare it to the original A7C, my previous favorite camera that I just sold to buy this. But I wanted to put this video out now to see if others are also running into these issues and to see if getting the word out will help bring attention to not just Samyang, Sigma, or TT artisans, but also to Sony too. So I don't want to rehash what I said in my first impressions video, but I have been since talking to more friends and fellow camera folk and have also written to a few companies without word back or even any acknowledgement of the issue at all until this morning, which is a start but still doesn't fix all the problems, nor is it helpful for me right now, as I am, like I said, packing my gear for a 3-week trip abroad. But at least Samyang, as of this morning, officially announced a major beta firmware update for a bevy of different lenses. Yet I now have had to buy an additional accessory and almost $50 lens docking station to run the firmware if it gets here in time. And it's still only a beta firmware, and this is only for Samyang or Rokinon lenses and not the other third-party lens manufacturers. So it begs the question, is this really a Samyang problem or a Sony problem? Now, if you didn't know, the A7C II has had severe problems with Samyang lenses, where especially in video, the autofocus pulses or sometimes won't focus at all. And it also seems to generally do better in video some of the times, but as you can see, not all the time. Okay, this is the Rokinon 18mm f2.8. I don't think I'm in focus, even though it looks like the eye auto tracking is working. Yeah, I'm not in focus. So this would be my favorite lens for a travel or vlog. As you can see, it's very wide, it's great sort of look, but not if it can't focus. Come on. There it goes. You see it's pulsing. Is that good? Are we in now? Okay, too much work for it to work. Okay, so just so you know, this is version 1.01 on my Rokinon lens, my 18mm f 2.8. It seems to be having a lot of the same issues, but maybe slightly less. So it's inconsistent, just the same. And now this is the Rokinon 24 f 1.8. Looks like my light back there is in focus. That's good. So this is the Rokinon 24 f 1.8 with version 1.01. It is, that light still is in focus. Okay, it is, okay, this is Rokinon 85 f 1.4. This should be focusing. Oh, come on. There it goes. Yeah, so this would not happen on my other cameras. Okay, so this is the Sony ZV-1 and the Rokinon or Samyang f1.4. Same exact range. I'm in the same exact place. Okay, next. But then I decided to try 2 other third-party autofocus lenses. Okay, this is the Sigma 16mm f1.4. in an autofocus. Not autofocusing. Oh, it's got my hand a little bit. So this is TT Artisan's 27 2.8 APS-C lens. Got it in a 1.2 crop or something, but it is, it's pulsing.
So this makes me think, is the Sony A7C II the problem? Because these lenses all work flawlessly with my ZV-E1 and FX3. So in the meantime, I've had to stop using any third-party lenses just in case and only use native Sony lenses, which interestingly, but not surprisingly, work fine. Even really old ones like my 16-50 APS-C kit lens. So something is going on with Sony, as I've noticed with their newer cameras and their newer firmware updates. They seemingly have been cracking down on third-party accessories altogether, or they forget to update compatibilities with other products before they roll out new firmwares. Now, within the last 30 days, I got 2 new pieces of tech that I've been excited about for a while, and strangely, only one has, as of now, lived up to the hype. And both are hybrid devices that excel in both photo and video, but both couldn't be more different. And I haven't reached for my A7C II as much as I thought I would have, but my phone, I keep picking it up to snap a pic. And if you've seen my most recent review and first impressions video, I'm talking about the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and I did some video comparisons between the phone and my Sony cameras, and actually did a photo shoot off between the 8 Pro and the A7C II. And there's clearly advantages of the full frame Sony, and I won't pretend that sensor size doesn't matter, but I also won't pretend that there aren't some clear advantages too of the smartphone, and not just because it's a device that fits in your pocket, which I guess the A7C II can as well, but as a true compact camera, the Pixel 8 Pro specs are legitimately impressive, feature-rich with crazy software magic and so many ways to edit pics and videos within the phone that I'm excited to use it. And maybe there's bias because I upgraded from the Pixel 5 to the 8 Pro, whereas with my A7C II, it was an upgrade from my A7C, which it clearly is, especially in video, but not by leaps and bounds, whereas with my OG A7C in photo at 24 megapixels compared to the 33, it was and is still one of my favorite cameras that I've ever owned. That was a real workhorse, so there may be some sentimental bias there too. Yet, I also own the ZV-E1, another compact camera, and although the A7C II is a very different tool, comparisons may be the thief of joy here with that, especially with ISO range and especially in video. Now, in all fairness, I'm going to take both cameras and my phone with me on my travels, so I will be testing out all 3 of these devices along with my drone and GoPro, and I may very well end up falling for the A7C II as I become more accustomed to it. So I'm not passing final judgment at all on it yet, as I don't think you should either, but I am passing judgment on not just how it handles my third-party lenses, but how it handles third-party accessories. So it seems that all recent Sony cameras and recent firmwares have attempted to get users to not use third-party batteries by either giving you a warning before you put it in or just not turning on at all, while my other Sonys like my FX3, which I purposely haven't updated to firmware 4.0 yet because it uses my non-Sony batteries fine, absolutely no issue and have for years, so it's a strange move. But I've also been reading about people who have had issues with the functioning of their various monitors or external recorders after the update. It's not an issue I have personally, but all in all, it's a little disconcerting as a trend with Sony and third parties. And maybe this problem I could get over if it wasn't coupled with both the lens problem and, which I will be covering in future videos, some of its physical limitations compared to my ZV-E1. Yet maybe in a few months these problems will all be old news and version 2.0 will run as smooth as Cyberpunk 2077's 2.0, and if you know, you know, hopefully erasing the bad taste in my mouth from its initial launch, and all third-party lenses and accessories will work like native Sony gear as has usually been the case. But as of now, the bad taste is lingering, so much so that I can't in good conscience recommend the Sony A7C II when you could just pick up the A7 IV, which doesn't have these issues and has better ergonomics and a better EVF, and on the used market is cheaper. Or if you want a compact camera, sticking with the original A7C, or looking at the ZV-1 even as a hybrid camera. Well, truthfully, it's still too early to tell, and I have a bunch more videos coming up where we'll actually be putting the A7C II through its paces. And speaking of paces, even though it's missing dynamic stabilization, I may still end up eating my words in the near future here as these problems get resolved, and the A7C II may in fact end up being my new favorite camera, like the original A7C was.
Okay, so I think the moral of the story is update your camera as soon as you can. It's an easy thing to do with Creators app. and I highly recommend it. It seems to be helping, but I think the real kick is going to be once I also update all these lenses. Again, this is the 18mm f2.8. Okay, roller coaster of emotions here. I got the docking unit from Samyang, and I just updated the 24 f1.8, and it seems to be functioning well. So I can say that if you update the lenses and the camera, it should be all good. But I have a lot more tests to do, and it seems even more less broken than before. Okay, back to you, going back to you. Okay. I still think Sony's gonna need another update on top of that for these inconsistencies, but for now, it's somewhat less broken, I guess. All right, that's the moral.
Now, thank you for your time and attention. I have a bunch more videos about videos like this on the way, so consider following along and subscribing. All right, thanks guys, bye.